Welcome to Cool Cars for Kids Car Reviews. My name is Jake and I will be your personal car reviewer. This is a 2023 Chevrolet C8 Corvette Stingray. In the back, we have a 6.2 liter LT6 crossplane crank V8 engine pushing out 495 horsepower. This Corvette was a controversial one, at least. Just for body design, there was a lot of parts that were taken, not taken necessarily, but rather used, that were very, very heavily inspired by Ferrari and other Italian companies. You can really just see that from the lines, and up here in our front we have sort of a jagged front, and that really is very reminiscent of a Lamborghini Aventador. And so a lot of people didn't like it because it sort of took away from the traditional American and Corvette values. However, I love it. I think that in the direction that cars are going today, this is a perfect design. Especially for a car that is evolving and will be evolving over time. This is a mid-engine Corvette, so again, another aspect used from those Italian supercars that you see, like the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis. Mid-engine Corvette is pushing 495 horsepower to the rear wheels. Now, that is a lot of horsepower, but when you compare it to something like Lamborghini Huracan or Ferrari 458, it is not as much horsepower as those cars are pushing, and those are also, you can get those in rear-wheel drive. Our 495 horsepower V8 is pushing out all of its power to the back two wheels. These wheels are, I don't see these a lot in the Corvettes that I do see driving around with the red trim, but I do like them a lot. I think they match very well with this rapid blue and the red calipers. The front wheels are going to be 19 inches and the back ones are going to be 20. These front ones are 245 section tires, while the back ones are 315s. So definitely have to be wide for all of that power. This Corvette is a beast of a car, especially from the middle to the back, because this is a mid-engine Corvette, so the engine is in the middle, really in the back, but it's between the rear axle and the front axle, so that's the classification of a mid-engine Corvette. This is the first Corvette ever in its history since the 1950s that the Corvette has not been in the front, but in the middle of the car. Let's open it up and take a look at this beautiful 6.2 liter engine. We can see that inside we have a red cover for the engine. That makes it really, really pop, especially with those wheels and those calipers, really matches those, and the interior, which I'll get to in a minute. We also have a very, very nice storage area. And just from personal experience with this car, you can fit a couple suitcases inside, maybe even a golf bag or two if you're lucky. I really, really like the design of the Corvette. It has those 4 notches there, which sort of, you would think it's an inline 4 just the way other engine covers are, but no, it's a V8. And I really like the way that they put Corvette on the side and the logo on the back there. This car is a supercar killer. And I don't say that lightly. I say that from everything I've seen from this car. Yes, it only has 500 horsepower, even less, it only has 495 horsepower, but it can do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds in 2.8 seconds. And when this thing hooks up with the ground and gets traction, it is gone. And it is a thrilling car to drive. and it is a thrilling car to hear. So, let's hear what this 2023 C8 Corvette sounds like. Now, I'm not sure if the microphone picks it up, but this does have an active exhaust system, and on the Z51 package, it has an active exhaust system. So there were times that it were quieter when I was revving and louder when I was revving, and that's because you can set it, and I'll show you when we do the interior tour, but it's because you can set it different modes like track mode, tour mode, sport mode, all that. Another thing I wanted to point out in the back is that we have this big diffuser here, very, very aggressive, and underneath we have some more aero, like slots for air to go through to create downforce. This does not have the biggest wing you can get on the Z51 package, and yes, the Z51 package is different from the Z06 package, but or Z06 trim level, and then on the Z06 there's a Z07, but this is not a Z06 car, so it does not have any of that addition. But you can get a bigger wing on the Stingray model, but it does not have it. But yeah, that's the back. And then last thing before we move on to the sides of the car is this camera, which is very, very good. You can get it on the 2LT and the 3LT models. So there's 3 levels of Stingray that you can get, which is the 1LT, 2LT, and 3LT. This is the 3LT, and with one of the perks of paying extra for those higher tiers is this rear view mirror camera, because there really is no visibility through this engine bay. Side of the car, this is the driver's side, or left side if you're in Europe. They're the same side, just the gas cap, and it is capless, so when you are filling it with gas, make sure to push it in really, really far and you'll feel 2 clicks, and that is how you know that your gas cap is in there. There is also a very large air vent, and this is because it is a mid-engine. So it is much easier for the car to cool itself down using the side vents, and sometimes when you've just gone for a nice drive or a track day somewhere, you will, when you turn your car off, you will hear this fan going, and that is just extra power or extra cooling to cool the engine down. And before we get to the interior, I just want to say that I really love the spec of the Corvette with the racing stripe and the rapid blue and with the black accents. I feel that it really, really helps bring out this car's nature as a really, really wild car. This is a wild color, and it will surely make your head turn if you saw this thing on the road. Inside the 2023 C8 Stingray. Now, this interior was also widely loved by many, but because of one small aspect was hated by many. That aspect was this central control stack. This central control stack is definitely a very, very debated one, a very controversial one. A lot of people don't understand why they couldn't just have it like a normal car that you would see or that you may have, where it's just on the center here, as opposed to this one long string of controls. And it definitely could have been an option, but when you see this, you think of Corvette. And it's very unique, very, very, it makes you think of a Corvette, it makes you think of Chevrolet. That is really cool. This is mainly just for the air conditioning and air in the system. So there's not much. All your music stuff will and can be controlled on your 8-inch touchscreen in the middle here. Let's turn the car on so you can hear what it sounds like from the inside. There we go. Yes, now we have that beautiful AC flowing on a hot 95-degree day. And with this glass roof, it is an option. It is hot in the car. Let me bring you in, show you some things. Now that we are inside of the Corvette, and by inside I mean really inside, not out there, we can take a look at what this car has to offer. So first things first, you sit down and you see the steering wheel, or steering square. And again, another controversial design aspect of the C8 Corvette. I love it. I think that it gives you great visibility both of the dashboard and of the road. Sitting at my height, eye level, you can see what I mean. We have a heads-up display that is very, very customizable. However you want it, high, low, brightness can all be changed. You can also change it based on the drive mode we're in. So we're going to go into sport mode. We can see how both the cluster changes and how the heads-up display changes. Let me zoom in on that. And no, it is not blinking in real life, it is just the camera. Then we can put into track, see how it changes one more time. There we go. And now this is a very, very aggressive and track focused display. We have that single line tachometer, really just takes the entire eye. You're not really going to be looking at your speed, you're going to be looking at your tachometer, especially when you're in manual or on the track. And yes, this car is an automatic, it is not a manual, which is another controversial design aspect, but that is because since it is a mid-engine, the transmission could not be going from the front to the middle, which would give it a lot of that rigidity, which is what the other models had. So instead, they decided that they would just have an automatic, but with a really, really fast 8-speed dual clutch transmission. And I love this transmission. Really fast, really aggressive in track mode. I love it. So besides sport, tour, and track, we also have 2 customizable modes. We have my mode, which is like the street, very, very easy custom non-track mode. This is how I have it set up, and it's gone. But this is how I have it set up. So everything is on the easiest level except for engine sound, because I love to hear my engines. And the other customizable mode we have is Z mode. And now this is the more track focused one. You can see that everything is more aggressive, and that performance track management, you can adjust that on here as well. Now taking a look at that center control stack, we just have essentially all air. There's nothing really much else on there. The way you work the shifting, I guess, is you would pull drive, pull reverse, and when you're in drive, push for manual mode. And I love manual mode on this car just as much as the next guy. Visibility is not great in this car. You have a big window, and then behind that, nothing. Same thing on the other side. And this is the camera that I was talking about. It gives you great visibility out the rear. When you don't have it in that mode, nothing. You just have a little slit to look at, nothing else. Great infotainment, very easy, very quick, and I love it. This does have a performance data recorder, or a PDR, but this does not have an SD card, so you can't record it. You can preview it, and that's what it looks like. I like it. It also is, when you have an SD card in the car, it is used for track, so you can look at your track timing, see what you need to fix, and whatever else. It is a target top, very easy to remove. All you need to do is pull these two levers out, push that up and out, and then you can take it off. And there is a space for it in the trunk, so if it starts raining, when you have the roof off, you can just put it right back on, and it takes no more than 10 seconds, maybe a little bit longer if you only have one person, but if you have two, it makes it easy. Let's see what the sound of this horn is like. Very nice. Very loud, very deep, and definitely will catch your attention if you are stopped at a stoplight and not moving. The speaker system in this car is another fantastic aspect. This is another part of the Z51 package, or the 3LT package, depends. It is a 14 speaker Bose Performance series. As you can see right there, very good bass, very good speaker. Now, let's get to driving. Driving the 2023 C8 Corvette. And this car, yes, it is powerful. It is a V8, it is a sports car, but when you have that thing in tour mode, it is very nice. The suspension on this car is Chevy's signature. Is the Magna suspension, and it is very supple over bumps. You do feel them a little bit, especially when they are bigger bumps, but in tour mode and in the soft suspension mode, you don't feel it. This Magna Ride, that is what I was trying to think of. The name of the suspension is Magna Ride. Yes, we are just going to drive around a neighborhood, do some neighborhood driving, so that you can hear the engine. Windows down, exhaust sound up. And this thing has kick, especially in the mid-range. It is very punchy. It revs to 6,500-ish RPM. So it is not a big redline monster like the new Z06s and those Italian sports cars are. But if you want power, this car has it. And it has plenty of it. I won't be doing any launches today because the owner does not want me to. But I will tell you that from my experience in the car, it gets to 60 quick. And it doesn't need a drag strip to do it like Hellcats do or Mustangs do. This thing hooks up no matter what. And those 345 section tires in the back put the power down. The turning radius on this car is good. We'll see that here in a second. But first, let's just get to our turning radius sight. Put the windows up so you can hear me better and so you can get a sense of what it sounds like in the cabin. This is not a convertible, so you can't lower that window in the engine bay. Does have good engine braking. Has one throttle body, but it is a big throttle body. So when you take air out of that thing, it slows down quick. So let's check out the turning radius here of the C8 Corvette. Past experiences, you can do this thing in about 2 turns if you go out really wide and come back all the way. Doing it slow. It does have parking sensors, but we won't need them. That was easy. Maybe brushed a couple of leaves there, but that was easy. And since it is a naturally aspirated Corvette, unlike the past ZR1s, you do get a lot of power buildup. So in those lower rev ranges, like the 1 to 2,000 RPMs, you don't have a ton of power. You feel it, you feel the kick, you don't have a ton of power. It's really only when you get into that mid to high range that you get the power. The automatic on this car without the manual is good. I like it. It is quick, and in the different drive modes, it knows when to shift. It knows if you're trying to push it, it'll go up into that red line. We are in track, so it has been bumpier. Thank you to my cameraman for helping me out here. Yes, it is a bit bumpy in track mode, but it is supposed to be a stiff suspension, and it works, that suspension. It takes these corners like Ferraris, like Lamborghinis. You can accelerate in those corners like Ferraris and like Lamborghinis. As a Grand Touring car, this car is it. And if you are to take this car on a 300-mile road trip, you could absolutely do it. The 3LT comes with the GT2 Sport bucket seats. And these bucket seats are comfy because I have gone on a 300-mile road trip in this car, and I had no back pain whatsoever, no leg pain, it didn't need to stop other than for gas. My legs did not feel tired, and I didn't feel like I needed to get out. So yes, I can't speak for the 2LT and 1LT seats, but if you are interested in the Stingray or the Corvette, I would recommend the GT2 bucket seats. On another note, if you are looking for this car as a daily driver, yes, it can do that too. It is smooth, and in traffic, in tour mode, there is very easy throttle response. It is instant, but in tour mode, it is quiet and smooth, and there is not a lot of like in a Lamborghini, it's very stiff, and the second you touch that throttle, you are gone. In this car in tour mode, you can put it down a quarter of the way, and you won't be accelerating like crazy. Now in track mode, that's another story. If you put this throttle down a quarter of the way in track mode, you are gone, because this thing has a lot of torque and a lot of horse powers. I'll be quiet. I'll shut up for a sec so you can hear the engine. Thing takes turns on a track here in a neighborhood very well, no tilt whatsoever, and you can just accelerate right out of that with no issue whatsoever. Now the only issue with this car is that you don't know you're going fast, especially if you don't have a convertible or your windows are closed. And that is because of that power buildup. If you keep your foot on the throttle in one position, it will just keep going and keep going, and you do about 50 miles an hour without even knowing it. Thank you for the ride along, and I hope you enjoyed this video.